Looking good. We are kind of fared. So obviously the right side, the accident side, this side, had quite a bit of work to be done to get it right. This bracket was bent. The bracket that held this one on was bent, so there's a lot of work that had to be done to get it to be reasonably lined up. And even still, it's, you know, it's not perfect, but I mean, the lines that count, like this one right here, that goes from the cowling down to here to be like one nice even line, and over here as well, one nice even line. Once there's a bolt in here, it'll pull it all together, but you know, it's lined up. That's all that matters. I drilled out the holes, the mounting tabs for there on the cowling, so now I can actually take the cowling off and paint it today, and actually just get that over with. So that's cool. Hopefully after today I won't ever have to take the cowling off again. I can just basically button all that up, because the only things that are going to bolt to the cowling are just these little two holes right here. So the right side was a pain in the butt. I need to figure out brackets for the mounting tab there, and then there's another one back there, and there's specific brackets that Yamaha have that you know, mount it all together. I can't find them on eBay. Actually, they are on eBay, but they're like an outlandish price. They're like $150 for a set of them, which is just absolutely ridiculous to me. And also, I'm probably gonna have to maneuver the brackets around a little bit anyways, just because that side isn't exactly correct, but the right side is, but left side, nah. So I might be better off just making my own brackets, and I might actually just end up doing that. But obviously the left side was not a problem at all to get right, because there wasn't an accident on this side. It just bolted right up. No problems at all. The thing I'm trying to figure out is the kickstand, and that's why I got my rear stand there, is the kickstand. I thought that it mounted through this hole, but it doesn't. It actually, this recess is just so that the kickstand can pivot. It doesn't actually mount behind it, which is good because it doesn't line up well at all. But it does line up well with the other bracket, or the other fairing on this side. I can make those two join together real easy. The front side, this little joint here, it's going to be slightly more difficult to get it to line up, but it'll still line up. And also, I have a lot of leeway with making those two mounts, just because they're going to be underneath, no one's going to see them, and frankly all they have to do is just join them together. So I might actually just use some, instead of like bolts, I might actually use, what are they, like, on cars they hold on the plastic on the interior. They're like those little kind of like button things that spread out once you push them in. I might just use those instead of actual bolts. So I got all the, I can really fudge those two and make it okay. But yeah, I'm missing the brackets on both these lower ones on each side. This one has one that mounts down here, and then of course one down here just like the other side, and those are obviously necessary because it pulls it in. So that's that. So for today, maybe I'll make the brackets tomorrow, because I'm pretty happy with how these are lined up. I think maybe for tomorrow, or for today, I think all I want to do is just get this front cowling done. You know, it's just, I got the white paint, and I talked to the paint store, and they said that I can use whatever clear and whatever base I want, because modern paints have enough flex in them, and it's going to be fine. And also he said, like, you know, it's not like this stuff's going to be turning 90 degrees, so whatever you want will work. So that's good. Oh yeah, and I'm having this color matched at that paint store in SF. It's called City Paints. I just gave him a little bit of the fairing graphics for this. There's a little bit of purple that goes right here. I just gave it to them. I said, make me a pint of that, and that's what they're doing. So pretty sweet. So yeah, let's Let's get this thing painted. So, I'm painting stuff outside. Painting the cowling. It's off, obviously. And what I've done is I've taped up the joints where the two fairings meet on the front and the back. And I noticed two things in the front that I don't like immediately. And the first one is that there's no gap underneath the fairing and the exhaust. Like I can feel the, like when I put my ruler in there, I can feel that there's a little bit of, you know, resistance there. And it, like, honestly, like, I can't have it be that close. Like, so what I'll probably do is I'll just notch it and cut out this back piece here, allowing it still to join up, but honestly, like, no one's gonna see it. And also, I want to make sure that one, it's not, the fairing isn't gonna be hitting the exhaust like on bumps or whatever, and two, if it's rubbing up against the exhaust, it's gonna melt right through it anyways, and you know, I'll be smoking down the highway and I'll be wondering why. So I'm gonna notch that. And then also there's a radiator radiator hose here that is rubbing up against the fairing slightly. What I might just do is there's a bracket back here, and I'll probably just like zip tie that over a little bit, just so that it's not hitting it. I mean, it doesn't, these these hoses don't get as hot as like an exhaust, but they do get hot, and I don't want them laying on top of stuff, so I'll just zip tie it out of the way a little bit, and it shouldn't have any real problems. And I'm not gonna wait on getting brackets because it's such a long shot trying to find them, and then, you know, it's just, nah, I can just make them myself. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to measure the brackets that go from there and then into the frame a little bit in there, and I'll just make that bracket up. Weirdly enough, on this side, the left side of the bike, there is no lower mount here on the fairing, but there is a captive nut on the frame that looks like it would be the spot to mount a mount a bracket on there to hold this thing in place. But to be honest, like with the tape holding the two fairings together, like it's pretty on there. I'm wiggling it right now. It's pretty on there. So it might only need the one bracket on each side, and then, you know, holding the two fairings together, and then obviously it's missing two mounting points up here because the cowl is off, so that might be all I need, which would be nice. And also I found out that I actually did not have to take off the kickstand in order to put this fairing on. It just needs to go behind it. So that's all. And like, yeah, it just needs to clear it. This little indent that was in the fairing is basically so that this can rotate, and you could probably end up taking off the kickstand without taking off the fairing, because that little recess gives you enough space to put a wrench back in there. But yeah, what's that? Yeah, and it's taped up back here too. Let's check the other side just for fitment. And yeah, it's the only concern I have with this side is it hitting the exhaust over here. Basically, it is still hitting it. So even with it taped up. So what I will do is I'll make the bracket that goes from here to, there's a little spot down here, and I'll make it so it brings it out a little bit, so that it's not actually resting on the exhaust. And if for whatever reason, after doing that, it still wants to hit the exhaust, because I'm wiggling it right now and it's not hitting it, but if I let it go and not put any pressure on it, it's hitting the exhaust. So it needs to be pulled out slightly. And if that doesn't work, I'll just notch it. Like, I've come to realize that these fairings are not perfect, and there does have to be a little bit of finagling to get them right, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna make up a bracket, and yeah, the little L bracket that's on the other side, I'm gonna have to make that for there too. So I'm gonna have to make 3 brackets total. Not a big deal. Making the brackets didn't take that long at all. I got the front 2 ones done on each side. I'm gonna paint them up eventually, but now's the one that I was not looking forward to for a while, and that's this one back in here. This guy right there. Need to use this one so that I can pull, so that'll pull this out a little bit, because it's hitting that exhaust right there. If I pull it out just a tiny bit, it'll give me about 1/8 of an inch clearance, which is more than enough wiggle room for it not to hit. So there is a mounting point at the bottom here, and it looks like it's already lined up pretty square, so all I need to do is make a bracket that goes from there to there, and it's going to be fairly complicated angle to make, but let's see here. This will give me a good representation of how much to do. We're looking at about 2 inches. Alright, looking at about 2 inches right here. Drill. We're done. Brackets. The one you saw me make, and the 2 that hold the front on. Yeah, now that's all that's left to do is to paint them so that they don't rust. The only thing left to do, as far as lining these fairings up, is to drill a hole there and there where the fairings connect to each other. And really, it's really hard to mess this up. I don't have to be accurate whatsoever. I just need to make sure it goes through both. And there's a little bit of wiggle room, but not a whole lot. But yeah, this is definitely the easiest part. And I can't believe I'm done. It's finally time to take care of this stupid ass thing. So this is going to be replaced. Because I basically made a big mess of it trying to get that sticker off. Yeah, completely mangled the shit out of it, and the heat, I used too much heat from the gun and warped this too. Yeah, oh, whatever, live and learn, right? But thankfully, this little bit of fairing here, there's a lot of them on eBay. I mean, there's like damn near no side fairings in good condition, but like there is a ton of this little piece in good condition on eBay. So I just grabbed one of these for 40 bucks and it's on its way, because I would have had to repaint this anyways and like do body work to smooth this all out, you know, and I would have had to have done that if there was no replacements, but there's a good replacement for this for 40 bucks, so I'm just gonna swap that on there, no big deal. So I'm reassembling the front fairing now, and I did have to redo the mount here, because as soon as I tried to tighten this down, this just popped right off. So I had to re-JB that, so now it fits as it's supposed to. This side has absolutely no issues whatsoever. It's fitting really good. And yeah, let's take a look at this finish. Like, I am super impressed with this clear coat that I got. I'll take a picture of it later. I don't know where it is, but yeah, it's like super good, just from the can. And yeah, there are some issues, like down in here there's a little bit of wrinkling. I guess there was some contamination there I just couldn't get to, but all of this, like this whole area from here, is going to be covered by a graphic, so that little bit of crap really does not matter whatsoever. And luckily, you know, there's a little run right there. That's going to be covered by a graphic. Basically, everywhere where there was an imperfection is going to be covered by a graphic. So I lucked out there. But yeah, man, this looks really nice. I'm really impressed by the quality of that clear coat. So what's left to do is I'm going to need to run and grab some more screws for mounting this little side bit here. I need one that runs through there. And yeah, I'm going to put this back on and then get the fairings back, get the side fairings mounted up to this, and basically run it around and see if the fairings fall off. I mean, that's it, man. Hopefully they won't. I'm planning on a pretty long ride this weekend to Santa Cruz, which is about 2 hours each direction. Just go there and back. So if it all holds together through that ride, then I know I'm good to go. And then I can start doing the bodywork and the paint on the side fairings. And then that's pretty much it. And yeah, here's the brackets all painted up and ready to mount onto the side fairing. So yeah, this is the clear I used. Krylon Color Master. It's really good. Like it sprays on there and it's super wrinkly and super runny. But then once it dries like really, really flat. So I really like this stuff. It's really good. Here's the mirror I repainted. Looking okay. I need to take all that tape off there and X-Acto knife off, like if there's any residue that actually got onto the mirror itself. But this looks good too. You know, there's a little bit of imperfections, like you can see there's little cuts and dips in there a little bit, but honestly it's a mirror. Those things happen, and the other replacement one I got doesn't look any worse than that, so whatever. Tell you what, man, doesn't that look good? Wow. The gloss really came out well. This whole thing came out really nice. I'm super happy about it. You know, still got all the rubber and such for the turn signal. That's all mounted up. I haven't done the right side yet. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I will. But what I did get today is my paint back from the from what is it, City Paints in San Francisco, matched to that purple, even with a little bit of metallic in it. Pretty sweet, under $100 actually. I have 2 more cans of this I can make. I have 2 cans already. So what they do is they make you a pint worth of this stuff and then put it in as many cans as you request. I only requested 2 for now, and I'll get the other 2 later if I need it. And I suspect I will. But yeah, now it's time to put on the fairing graphics. And these are the only, I got lucky, man, and found these on eBay. Super lucky, because this is such a rare color combination for the FZR. So the fact that I found it, really lucky. So yeah, I'm gonna put this on. Pretty simple. Use the old cruddy one as a bit of a template to how it's supposed to lay. And, you know, spritz a little soapy water on there and lay it on there and hope for the best. Oh yeah, and I have to remove these 2 screws because this mounts over it, if you can see there. So I'll do that now. Well, I'm so happy with this. Oh man, that just looks great. What I'm doing right now is I'm just hitting the vinyl stickers very, very lightly with my heat gun and spreading out, and just like running over the edges with my finger just to help the adhesive dry as quickly as it can, and also to work out any remaining air bubbles that are in here. But pretty much this is as good as it's gonna get. Yeah, I'm super happy with this. This is looking brand spanking new. It's awesome.